Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a little Yakuza tier list for you. I just wanted to rank them, so I'll just do it now. Alright, starting off with Yakuza 0. That's the game that I first played back in the day on the PS4. I think like 2019, 2020 is when I first played it and tried it, but I didn't get far. I played like till Act 2, and then in 2022, yeah, late 2022, I played it again and I absolutely loved it. I just started off where I left off and I was just hooked on the game. And I have like over 100 hours of playtime in it now. And it's the Yakuza game that I go back to the most. If I just feel like playing a Yakuza game, I just boot up Yakuza 0 and play that because, I don't know, I really love how the combat feels and the money. It's just so satisfying beating a dude up and there's just money flying out of him and you get like $1 million every time you beat someone up. It's fucking sick. This is really a perfect Yakuza game to start you off, you know. Backstory to it all. It has amazing mini games, some of the best side content in any Yakuza game, and story, man. The story, I think it might be the best story in any Yakuza game, but I'll have to think about that a little more because I don't know, there are some other games with a pretty amazing story, but Kuze and the fucking lieutenants, I don't know, Awano and what's the Shibusawa? Yeah, all of them are fucking awesome, man. The music, bro, the music is just fucking crazy. I don't know, it's when I first played this game, it was just an experience. I don't know how to explain it, but it was just absolutely amazing. Definitely an S tier for me in terms of Yakuza games, and I'd say in terms of games in general, I'd give this an S tier, and especially because you can play Majima, man. That is like, holy shit. The more Yakuza games I played, the more I realized how awesome it is to be able to play him in this. And yeah, next game, Yakuza Kiwami. Oh man, Kiwami is awesome too, but it's very similar to Zero in terms of the combat and mechanics, and they reuse a lot of stuff that they had in Zero, but I mean, it's still a great game, and I love the Majima everywhere mechanic. That was funny as hell. And yeah, I remember I used to do the side content in this game as well. I mean, it's solid too, but there wasn't much that stood out. Like, I mean, the story was awesome, and you know, I love like what became of Nishiki after Zero and stuff, but it's I think Zero overshadows it a lot. You know, it's an awesome game, but because it came out directly after Zero and it reused so much of it, well, how can I explain it? It's kind of underwhelming, but even though it is a great game, I'd say if this came out a little while after, or not like directly being the next game, it could have been received better. I don't think anybody hates this game, but no, it's pretty much just the game after Zero, and the special thing about it is the Majima mechanic. But you know, obviously Yakuza 1 is an awesome game because that started off the whole franchise and introduced all of these characters, and this is just a remake of it. But yeah, it's an amazing game, but it was kind of overshadowed because of Zero. I'd still say it's a solid game. It's like an A tier, just because of the Majima mechanic and because I loved seeing story play out. You know, I was really invested in the story, and there isn't really anything bad about the game that I could like criticize right now. At least nothing in my mind that stood out to me as really bad. Maybe the car chase thing, but no, even the car chase has like that fucking insane soundtrack, so even though I fucked up like 20 times and had to retry that part over and over again. The music made up for it. Yakuza Kiwami 2. I kind of have mixed feelings on Kiwami 2. It's pretty cool. It looks amazing, even though it has like kind of a greenish filter on it, but Dragon Engine just looks sick, you know. And the fact you can like walk and how interactive it feels, like walking through the city. You can just go into buildings, you know, literally go into the grocery store, and the exploration is really fun in this. Kiryu is like a fucking competitive eaters. You can just go in every restaurant, order everything on the menu, and Kiryu just eats and eats and eats and gets experience, and then you go take a bunch of fucking Abführmittel in English. I forgot the name. Laxatives, exactly, yeah. So Kiryu just shits it all out, and you go on to the next restaurant, eat all of it on the menu, and laxatives again. That's what I did. I thought it was pretty funny that you could just do that shit. I don't really like the combat as much, you know. It didn't have any modes, and the special moves felt kind of meh. I like the ragdolling and the fact you can just throw people over the fucking map into stuff and it breaks, and stuff like that is awesome. Or you shove them into a store through the glass door and it shatters, and I don't know, you fight in the fucking restaurant, pick up a chair, hit him over the head with it. Shit like that is awesome, but the moves themselves aren't really... I wouldn't say it's bad, but I just prefer the combat in Zero and Kiwami. It felt more, I don't know, solid, like, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but Yakuza Kiwami 2 feels a bit too smooth and flowy, but in the old games it was more rigid. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe you understand what I mean by that, but Kiwami 2 is very different. Story was fine. I didn't really care too much for it. Ryuji Goda is pretty awesome, but while thinking about it, I don't really... There aren't really any big moments in the story that I remember, except for like the later part of the game. But it has been about 2 years since I played it, so I probably just forgot a lot. You fought 2 tigers, if I remember correctly. That shit was insane. And you had the Majima story, which was really awesome. I'd say it's about the same as Kiwami 1. No, it has some flaws definitely, but it's just really cool and something different, you know. After like playing those games, which are very similar to each other, Kiwami 2 was a nice change of pace. Right. Yakuza 3. That one was kind of tough to get into, not gonna lie. I liked the story though. It was just really wholesome, with, you know, seeing Kiryu interact with the children and stuff, and being in the orphanage and stuff. I thought that was pretty awesome, and that you helped out each of them with their own little personal story and stuff. It was pretty cool. And of course, you know, Mine. I love that guy, even though he's not really in the game a lot, but the parts with him are just... they're just sick. I think, was it Rikia? Was that the buddy with the snake on his back? I was sad when he died. Spoiler. But it was pretty tough to play this one after Kiwami 2, because it feels ancient. It's a really heavy contrast, you know, going from Dragon Engine into the old Yakuza 3 engine, which is like 2 steps behind Yakuza 0 and Kiwami. So yeah, I'd say it's a C as a Yakuza game. You know, it's still a Yakuza game, but I'd say it's probably the weakest on the list. But actually, yeah, if it's the weakest on the list, I'd put it an F, because this is a Yakuza tier list, obviously. So I'd rank them from compared to each other and not just as a game. So I'd say I'll just move both of those down to B, because they're fine, but they're not one of the best games in the Yakuza series. Yakuza 4, oh man, that was awesome. This game is awesome. I really love all the different characters, and the story was fun. Seijima was weird. I'm not gonna lie, that fucking scene with him and Haruka, I didn't know what the fuck was going on there, to be honest with you. Yeah, fuck. Overall, it was pretty sick. I don't know. I want to put it in A tier, but fuck it. Why not? I'll put it in A tier. Right. Yakuza 5. I gotta say, I'm not too big on Yakuza 5. After I reached the Saejima part of the game, I stopped playing it for like 3 months because I just hated that part. And in general, I like Yakuza 4 more than that. It's a good game, but yeah, it's not my favorite Yakuza by any means. I know a lot of people love it and I'm probably gonna get crucified for it, but I'll put it in C because I think that's a fair rating for it. Oh, Yakuza 6. Oh man, Yakuza 6. That is one of the best Yakuza games, I gotta say. I know there's basically none of the old characters really making a comeback except a bit of Date and Haruka, obviously, but all of the new characters were so awesome and the whole story had me hooked. And Hiroshima was awesome to explore. It was really amazing. I don't know, it's an S tier for me, I gotta say. I don't want to spoil too much, but the story was really emotional and just awesome. Yeah, I was blown away by it, but pretty much. Same for Yakuza Like a Dragon. Holy shit, dude. I love Ichiban so much. It's crazy, that guy is just awesome. I think he's an even better protagonist than Kiryu. I love Kiryu, but Ichiban is just so... He's a bit like a fucking Naruto or something, like an anime protagonist. This might sound stupid. I think Ichiban is really like inspiring, you know? He goes through all this shit and everything that can go wrong goes wrong, and you know, he's in prison for like 10 or 15 years. And he gets out, but he's not mad at anybody and he's just a good guy. This sounds stupid, but I think we can all learn from Ichiban, you know? He's been through it all, but at the end of the day, he doesn't lash out at anybody and he always tries to do the right thing. I don't know, I just love the story in that game, and if I'm gonna be honest, I cried like a little bitch at the ending because holy shit, you gotta play it to know what I mean. But yeah, it was just a wild ride, and the combat, I love the combat. It's like Pokemon on crack. That's the best way I can explain it, basically. Pokemon on crack. I think that's pretty accurate. That enemy designs are... Who the fuck comes up with that, you know? I really liked it, and I think it's a pretty awesome direction for the franchise. Yeah, Like a Dragon is an S tier for me. We get to Ishi now, huh? I think I'll have to move everything down one ranking, because I definitely think Ishin is better than Yakuza 4, but not quite as good as all of those up here. Just for the fact you're in the old school Japan, you know, Bakumatsu period. It's a really interesting time period, and seeing all those characters in like this old setting of Japan was really cool. You know, being those samurai, and the story was really intriguing and crazy, you know. And I mean, the combat was just... Oh man, I think that might be the best combat, or one of the best combat systems in any Yakuza game. Just Ishin, because the gunslinger thing, where you have like a sword and a gun in one hand, oh man, that goes hard, bro. Ishin is definitely an A for me. Like a Dragon Gaiden, I liked it. It's pretty small compared to other Yakuza games, but it's pretty cool. It's very unique and crazy, you know, with the fucking... You skate around with fucking jetpack shoes, you throw explosive cigarettes at enemies, you got like Spider-Man strings throwing enemies around the room. It amazes me every time I play a Yakuza game, you know. You think you've seen it all. There's no more crazy shit that can like impress you, because Yakuza games are just so fucking unhinged, but they keep doing it. The combat is just crazy. And the fact you have like this Colosseum where you can play as all these characters you love, it's a good game. And you can customize Kiryu, which I love. You can make him look like a fucking pimp or like a nerd, whatever you want. It's pretty funny. I think Gaiden goes with 5 because I definitely like Kiwami and Kiwami 2 more, but it's a decent game. And Infinite Wealth, oh man. I think Infinite Wealth has the potential to be an S tier for me, but there's also some stuff that I don't like. For example, the fucking VTuber stuff they put in. They always try to be like with the times and represent what is going on in the culture at the time period that's it's set in. And you know, Infinite Wealth is playing in the modern day, so they have VTubers and stuff, but I don't know, it feels really weird to see VTubers in a video game, and that being like a part of the plot. That kind of took me aback. And fucking what's her name, Chitose, I can't stand that bitch, man. I really can't. And I think there are a lot of parts in the story that are just stupid, you know. I can't understand them. Ichiban is really naive and trusts people way too much in this game, and when you compare him to the other game in Like a Dragon, he was naive, yes, and he did always believe that people are good and stuff like that, but in this game it's just stupid. He gets betrayed left and right. Chitose betrays him like 3 times, and this man just doesn't care. He's like, oh no, it's fine, it's okay, bro, we good. And every time I'm just like, Ichiban, you fucking idiot, just throw her out. You don't need her. Why is she here? No, that I really hate that part of the story. Everything to do with Chitose is pretty much just mid, in my opinion. But the good part, you know, the story is a bit but the good part is everything else in the game. Hawaii looks amazing. In fact, you can play as Kiryu. Seeing Kiryu interact with the party members of the old game was pretty awesome. Building this relationship with Ichiban and Kiryu was pretty cool. And in fact, they went so crazy on the side content. No fucking, what do you call it? Woohoo Island? No, what's that? Wii Sports? I don't know what you call it, but a fucking tourist resort that you built. That was pretty funny, and I spent way too much time on that. Pretty much a week of my life just went into that mini game. What else? Of course, the fucking Pokemon thing. The fact you had like a whole Pokemon side story, and so much good shit on the side content, you know. But the story for me, just, it's not quite an S tier for me. I think Infinite Wealth goes into the A tier. Yeah, here we have it pretty much. This is my Yakuza game tier list. Let me know what you think of it, and if you enjoyed this video. But I'll make a video on a Yakuza game soon again. After my Oblivion video comes out, that'll be the next thing. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.